Okie dokie. Oh. Not only do we need to get Blitz a throne, I want something other than this surfboard stool. I'm just like...
We're past 5 episodes. You said you were getting stuff. We need the mic stand.
I'm just gonna put Blitz with a boom mic off to the side. I want one of those. Ready.
Set.
Go!
Cast. Matt and Becca.
Welcome back to the No Regrets podcast featuring me, Becca, and you're supposed to say your name.
I thought you were doing the whole intro like you're my hype person.
Okay.
Hype
What's
woman.
your name again?
Hype woman.
What's your name? Mafu? Makuku? And Mafu Makuku! And Blitz the best boys on the ground!
Yeah.
Hello, team. It is episode 7 of the podcast. We are rocking and rolling. And thank you guys for all the continuous encouragement and then just feedback of, hey, the podcast is rocking. We're getting better each episode. Only if you guys think so. We're just going to keep doing them, right? And reps on reps on reps. That's life for you. You do the reps. Hopefully, you learn something from the bad reps.
You learn how to talk.
And you learn
in
how
front
to
of a
talk.
Camera.
We're getting better. I mean, I do a lot. It's so crazy. Just so you guys know, back in the dark ages of 2020 is actually when we started doing our videos. Because everybody had to shift gears during COVID, and
No, we did some before that, but that's when we did it like every day.
I don't know how much we actually did, though.
Yeah, we did there were little videos that we would do.
And we should pull
like
those up
tips
and repost them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did do, a few just coaching tip videos that were probably extremely stiff. And then we got into the garage age when we had to kind of adjust to all of our online platforms due to COVID. And that's when the videos really started picking up because we were forced to practice them, forced to get better at them. And ever since then, that's when my videos, crazy videos kind of started. I shared not too long ago that hollow hold video was like one of my first crazy videos because I was like hopped up on way too much caffeine, bored out of my mind. And I go, Kat, come record this really quick. And Kat is silly like me. And she'll just put all these, like, move the camera around really sillily. Sillily. That's a real word, I feel like.
Simile?
No, like silly, but sillily. Adverb. Oh! Did I get that right? Is that English? My English class.
Simile is not English.
Silly. Anyways, but our camera angles really made that video come together. And I was like, this is kind of funny. We're just going to keep rolling with this. At first it was Lessons with Lit Fuse. And now it's just, you guys don't have a funky title now. But Lit Fuse used to be the crazy video person. And that's where the videos started. And then throughout the years, we've gotten to this point. I do a lot of videos. You guys know that. You're getting into your videos.
Not so much.
If you guys remember, like 2 episodes back, I said Bolt had a Reels coming out. Finally, it got edited. I like how it came out. So make sure you guys look out for that one. It's pretty funny. Brings back the old Harlem Shake, which is one of my favorite dance challenges because it's not even a dance challenge. You just do whatever you want. So the gym did kind of this Harlem Shake thing for a little bit of a CrossFit commercial. So keep an eye out for that. Did you answer, at least in your head, or you didn't answer over Instagram or Threads, my gummy worm question last night?
I'm not on Threads.
Okay. Don't get all political on Twitter and Threads.
I'm not getting political. I'm not on it.
Okay, but did you answer my gummy worm question?
No.
Did you even see my gummy worm? He doesn't even follow me, guys.
I think I saw it on your story. If you dropped it, would you eat it?
Yeah, the gummy worm coming off of that other Reels video that I did, hit it out my hand, flew into a pile of chalk. Do you eat it?
Like a pile of chalk on the ground?
Yeah, Pile of chalk on the ground on the gym floor. Do you pick it up and eat it?
Depends.
Your answer is always depends. So give me both, or all of your sides to the story. Do you eat it or do you not eat it?
It depends.
We need to know this answer.
If there's certain individuals like had just been doing burpees in that spot, not eating it.
Yeah, that's a good. A couple of you guys had that. Like it depends on who was in the chalk last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how sweaty that spot is.
But you can't. Okay, if it's in a sweaty spot,
That's
I'm
what
not
I mean.
eating it.
That's what I mean.
But that wasn't a part of the question.
Some people sweat more than others. So some people I'd be like, oh, if it was around them, I'd be like, it's probably not too gross. There's other people where it'd be like a sea worm.
It was yeah, sea snake. Well, the sweat wasn't a part of the question, so take sweat out of the equation. Just a pile of chalk on the ground, on the gym floor.
I'm not a big fan of gummy worms in general, so I would probably say
okay,
no.
What's your favorite snack? A Raisinette. You're that person.
No, I like...
He's a Raisinette dude.
No, I'm not. It's because I said I liked them one
There's
time.
Raisinettes in the pantry right now. Do you think I bought those?
Yes.
No, I did not buy Raisinets.
Yeah, you did for movies.
No, you bought
Oh,
those.
yeah. And I got you Milk Duds.
Yes.
The point is that if I liked them that much, they would be eaten. They've been in there for like
You're avoiding the question.
months.
Something of food is sitting in a pile of chalk on the gym floor. Do you pick it up and eat it? You like the food.
Filet mignon, yes.
Okay. I don't know who's serving up filet mignon in the gym, but okay. So the answer is yes. Most votes were yes for the gummy worm. I'm with you guys. Blitz. Let me get out the Blitz cam. Share some Blitz cam footage for you guys. If you could zoom in on the inside of his ear, that's where this story is going. Blitz is the best boy ever, you guys. You know him as the best boy. That's because he is the best boy. He went to the vet yesterday, and unlike most dogs, Blitzy boy loves the vet. Why? Because there's people and snacks there.
Hey. Hey.
He's listening to you. He's ignoring you.
What are you doing?
He's so pissed that we haven't gotten him his throne yet. Anyways, I didn't even get to go. I was like proud mama when you came back and was like,
you're not asleep.
Blitz. Wait till you guys see this Blitz cam. He's so aggravated right now because we haven't gotten him his stool or his throne. But he came. I heard the story. He came back from the vet. First of all, he does so good. He just goes back in the back with all the people. He's not skittish at all, which is concerning.
He wants to go explore the whole place. Yeah, and he can smell all the other animals.
Yeah, he's not afraid of the vet. Not afraid to get his shots or anything. And then they said he was such a good boy that they had to clean out some hair in his ears. He had hair pile up. Every now and then we have to do that because he's got floppy ears. And they trimmed his ears so fast. We're like, oh, we're not going to charge you for that. He was such the best boy.
That's what they said.
He lives up to his name. That's the Blitz story. Wait till you guys see that.
Finally saving me some money.
He got you out of traffic ticket too one time, right?
Yeah.
Is that a true story?
Well, I don't know if he did, but
we'll say he did.
It didn't hurt.
His cuteness can help us. And he sells the gym all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
He does sell the gym.
Meme for Time just did that video about the 3 ways to get people to come to, or how to get people to come to CrossFit, and number 3 was dogs.
I'm sold.
Blitz sells us probably closes 40% of the people that come in the door.
Yeah. Even people that don't love dogs that much at first.
Yeah, he's
really, they're a little skittish at first. He'll love on them and slowly wiggle his way in there and be like, hey,
yes,
we're gonna be
relentlessly friendly.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna be friends soon. Blitz the best boy. He lives up to his name. Do you have any weekly updates?
Oh, no.
You didn't do anything this week. Thanks for supporting me in my old shirt.
Weekly updates.
I'm gonna make a compilation of that.
Okay.
Of all your
Another fun week at Bolt.
Oh yeah.
Doing some workouts.
Yeah, we do a lot of stuff. We're doing a lot of stuff around here. And just playing around in the heat right now. You know what sucks most about
yeah.
the heat? What?
Worked up to 40 minutes a day sunbathing.
Oh, thank you. Please tell everyone what your mission is right now. What you do on the daily.
I get sun. I get out in the sun, get my vitamin D, feel good, get some extra steps in, maybe. It's nice.
I haven't been able to back up my big.
Sometimes work out outside,
lately.
even when it's like 105 or whatever it is, just for that extra challenge.
So
and get the sun at the same time.
I'll update you guys. Matt is tanner than me right now. I don't know if the lighting's doing it justice right now, but you're very, very white, dude. And for you guys that aren't watching on YouTube, one, you're missing out on a lot with the Blitz cam and everything. But two, you're also missing out on Matt's tanness. I'm sure it'll keep progressing as the episodes go on through the summer. But he started with like 20 minutes a day out in the sun, and then have worked our way up to like 40 minutes a day, just progressively getting more tan. I can tan really easily, so I've been talking big game, except I haven't been out in the sun as much as you. But I'll do it this week. I'll go paint some shoes outside and then just walk in like all crisped up. Tanner than you. But he shouldn't be more tan than me, and he is right now, so I'm proud of you and all of your sun tanning. You look good.
Feels good.
You look good.
That's why I do it. Feels good.
Look nice.
Look good, feel good.
Watch the YouTube video or the video on Spotify, wherever you guys are watching these videos. You can admire Matt's tanness. And soon you will be able to admire my more tanness. I can tan pretty easily. So I'll go do that soon.
Well, I'll talk.
Right now it is. I can't back it up at all. Content update for you guys. I'll be making some shifts on some content. We've been hammering some YouTube content, and I'm really proud of the whole team. You, me, Gerard, all of you guys out there. We've been putting out a ton of content and being really consistent with it, which is actually the really hard part, is just the time it takes to shoot, edit, and put those guys out. It's a lot of work. That being said, we've been doing the kind of the routine we have been doing for so long. I'm looking to try to mix it up. So specifically, move mindset might change up a little bit. I want it to have more structure. I love the kind of free-for-all. I just kind of blab my mouth away at you guys because you guys get total realness. But then I want to clean up those videos a little bit. So be expecting a little bit of new stuff on the YouTube page. And Gerard and I are always brainstorming things up for new content ideas. It's just shooting them and editing them takes time. Yesterday Gerard was leaving, and he couldn't find you. I go check outside. He's probably running around shirtless, getting a tan on. And you were.
That's where I was.
So that's the content update. And if you guys do follow me on social media, you might have seen recently I did partner up with a new management company, which is super exciting and, to be honest, a little bit nerve-wracking. It is an investment on our part. But guys, if you've been with us and just me through my athletic career for a while, I hope you guys have gotten to see the growth over the last few years. I'd never imagined I'd be at this point. If you guys are just jumping into this content, thank you for jumping aboard the crazy boat with us, because we do a lot of things, and that's just another door we're going to kick down. So maybe we'll be venturing out, doing some new fun projects, not only just here in Tejas in Texas, but maybe we'll make some trips other places. So that's super exciting. And then before we get into our questions here, and I don't think I have anything like groundbreaking for the weekly wrap up, I wanted to kind of share with you guys, Matt and I brainstorm all the time, and we're trying to, and I think a lot of people in life are always trying to figure out what their mission is and what your purpose is and what you truly want to do. And with all the content that we're putting out, and then just kind of a leap into having a little bit of structure with a new management company, is just the goal being, I personally want to give back to you guys in the community and make something of this success that we have here and turn it into something bigger that goes out there. That's the vision. I like anything from little things like coaching tips to seminars to just giving back to the community that has 100% changed my life. I want to find a way, like, we make some income, we make some money off of this YouTube page, the content that we do, and everything we do in our fitness realm here and at Bolt, and give all of it back to the community. Because that's the only reason I want all of this to be successful. Have fun and make something more of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's super cool.
We talk about it all the time. I mean, you're a big inspiration in my life.
I think too is just like, hey, if you think if we have a certain perspective and message, and we have a lot of people that dig it in the gym, I guess, or there's that Bolt kind of feeling of how we do things, and share that with more people, and hopefully more people it'll be good for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, one of the coolest things that happens around here, and I'm sure it happens in many other affiliates and CrossFit gyms and just any fitness spaces, is, I mentioned this to you yesterday, is like, what's so cool about fitness, and then even the sport of fitness, whether you're using fitness to obviously be strong and healthy, or you're doing the sport of fitness, is like anyone can do it. Anyone can put in the work and then get something out of it. You don't have to be a certain height. You don't have to have a certain build to accomplish this sport. You just got to work hard at it. And it really, some of the most rewarding moments is when you see people's daily habits changing, the healthier habits, and they're just life-changing moments. And we do that a lot in here, and it's seriously the best thing ever. And it's so rewarding. I'm like, how can we scale that up and take it to bigger things outside of the walls of Bolt? So technology is amazing. I'm going to take advantage of that. And I'm talking to my phone right now. And that's pretty freaking amazing that it's going to get out to people. We have a question coming from someone from South Africa. That's cool. Don't knock that down. That's really cool.
That is cool.
Okay.
It's a small world.
Yeah. So that's the plan. And I got a cool partner that inspires me right back to do all these big things. So, and all you guys are riding the crazy train with us. So let's do this thing. And that being said, we're going to do a giveaway on the newsletter. I haven't decided everything I'm going to put in the giveaway yet. I know one thing. I'm not even going to share it yet, but I have a mission going in next year. I told you and Gerard about it. Okay, should I share it? I can't hold it in.
Groundbreaking news.
I can't even hold it in. I'm going to give away.
It's reporter Matt here from WNBC, Coppell, Texas.
Coppell, Texas.
What is this late breaking news?
We're going to do a giveaway on the newsletter, the No Regrets. Wait, that's the Fuse News newsletter. I don't even know the name of my own newsletter.
All your brands.
The Fuse News. They're all kind of blending together at this point. But I will give some prizes away, one of them being a customized squid hat.
You heard it here first.
Do you want that?
A customized squid hat. Where else? Like literally, there is nowhere else in the world you can get a Rebecca Fuselier customized squid hat. That's like worth $1 million.
I think so. I truly think so. And I totally expect next year to go out to semifinals and you just see squid hats in the crowd. That'll make me the happiest person ever. So we're going to start giving them away. Y'all get ready. Squid hats are coming. Squid hats are coming.
This first one, if you win, you're like the squid captain.
You're like the squid captain.
So this one's a big one. We need a lot of people signing up. You need to jump on this. Seriously. Like, you get to be the squid captain.
The squid captain.
The squid, Rebecca Fuselier captain.
Okay.
Of all the squids that are going to be in stands next year.
That's happening. And then, man, I'm just going to give away all the secrets. I can't hold secrets. I don't keep secrets. Okay.
Save one for next week.
No. Squid hats are coming. There's going to be more with the squid hat. Don't worry. I just haven't decided on everything I want to do, but there will be a giveaway on this newsletter. And then when we get really close to our big 10K subscribers on YouTube, we just passed 8K on YouTube, so we got a little ways to go. But when we get to 10K, I'm going to give away a custom pair of tiers.
What? Guys, I don't even have that yet.
No, you don't. It's seriously, it's going to happen. So you guys,
well, then I guess I'll have
on in there.
I'll have to enter into the drawing. See if I can get some.
Are you even subscribed to my channel?
Yes.
Okay, then you're in. If you're subscribed, it's going to be a random subscriber.
I might be able
you guys
to rig
better
that.
Get there.
I might be able to rig that.
Custom pair of tiers. No, if the generator, the random name generator comes up Coach Matt Bear, we're going to respin. Okay, that's what we got going on. Anything else to wrap up the week? We good? Good. Questions. We got some good ones this week. Thank you guys for all your questions. Before we jump into them, don't forget to like, subscribe, so you can get your squid hat and your custom pair of tiers. Just saying, cool things coming up. And so we can grow this freaking community and do the coolest things ever. Also, if you want to send in any questions, get that fusenews@gmail.com. You can send me some longer form questions. And every week on Instagram, I usually put out a little questions tab. So this is where these questions are coming from. They're coming from you guys. What do you think about the 5K that they just announced at the games? Go, Coach Matt Bear.
Great. I mean, it's one.
I feel like my squid hat right now.
I mean, what is there to say about it? We don't know what terrain they're going to be on. I can't imagine it being like this crazy, other than just it's not cross country, meaning it's going to be like on some grass.
At least it's not going to be on.
It's not going to be on the road. Yeah, it's just going to be on different little terrains, but it's not going to have like a big elevation change or anything. So I think it'll be a pretty straightforward test. I guess they could make people run it with a ruck or something like that, or with a weight vest.
I hope they don't. Like, you don't need that.
That's what I mean. There's nothing. The best runner is going to win it. There's not like anything crazy I see changing up the running aspect of it. So, I mean, it's fine. I guess it's kind of one of those things we talked about. It being really important to have the events timed appropriately because of the caps.
The cuts.
That's a single modality test. If that's early on in the test and you don't have some weightlifting or a single modality weightlifting or gymnastics workout,
yeah,
then you run the risk of, it not being balanced.
Yeah. So we know this because you brought Cass to the games so many years in a row, and then we trained for the games last year. It's just when you qualify for the CrossFit Games, you better be running. Yeah. They do a ton of running, not only just like events like this, but transitions across the field and everything. There's always a ton of running.
They've announced 2 workouts in there
with running because they announced Helen too.
I mean, we don't know the version of Helen, but if it's as is or just added rounds, the best runner is going to win it.
Could you do swim, Helen?
I bet.
That'd be cool.
Swim Helen?
Swim Helen? I don't know how that would do that.
I guess you could.
But I'm trying to think about how they would spice it up. But, I mean, this has been said before. You just do the workouts at intensity, whether it's a 5K, whether it's Helen. We talked about that on scaling and even class workouts. Is just hit it hard, and then it's still going to put up a good race. If you just ran a straight 5K cross country style, whatever they're going to do out there, it's going to be a good race because people are going to be pushing that 5K. But yeah, that was my only worries when you brought that up. They're like, they announced 2 events. One's a 5K and one's Helen, and they both have running in it. Not to mention, we did test a decent amount of running at semifinals. The only thing is it was on a runner. So at least they're not on a runner. I think it'll be fun. If you're an athlete competing in the games or kind of putting all of us in the shoes of the athletes, it is so fun when you get to go out of the competition stadium, do these off-site events and everything too. So that'll probably be really fun for the athletes too.
Yeah. I mean, there's some cool things they could do with it being cross country, and it being, if they don't have, I mean, it might be hard because they'll probably have fans be relatively close to some of the running parts. But if they don't have any markers, like it's been 1 mile, 2 miles, 1.5 miles, those types of things, it does make the running more like a unique race because you have to kind of like know
where you are.
It's about a 5K and I know what that feels like. but you don't know exactly where you are. And
Yeah.
if they don't let you wear a watch or something so you can't keep your time, it's kind of that's really like a gut check of how well do you understand your running paces and where you can be, and how much distance running you've done, because that makes that race a totally different race than if there's
if you don't know where you're at.
There's half mile check marks, benchmarks, or it's a track that you know exactly how many times to go around. So that could be adding it's a cool element.
When we did that long trail run, guys, if you didn't know, I competed in 2020 at the Mayhem Classic, and we did a huge ruck run. Was it a 5K?
It was like a 7K.
Okay, it was something, I don't remember the distance, but I remember we were running for over an hour, and it was a true ruck run. We were like through the Rich Froning's pastures and through the trails, and there was some points where you were like on your hands.
I think the whole way it was like uphill too.
Oh my gosh, it was, and I was not as good of a runner back then as I am now, so that crushed me. But we specifically went to Walmart because I didn't have a watch with me. Rookie mistake. I take watches with me when I go compete. But I didn't have a watch, and we bought a watch, and at least I remembered to start it when we went, because there have been workouts where I'm like 3, 2, 1, I just don't start the watch. And all I was watching, it was so wild. The terrain was so wild. I was like, there's no way I can watch my paces or anything. I just know the time frame. And I looked down, and we're like over an hour when I could see the finish line. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But it does, having that watch on you, they kind of gave us a hint, like fast runners will be around the hour, less fast or slower runners will be a little bit longer than that. So it was good to kind of like know that and know how long you were going to be at it. But that was rough. And then the other thing I've done that was trail running was a Ragnar race, which is not CrossFit related. It's team relay racing, and they have mile markers out there. So encouraging to see that. First trail I had to run was 7.5 miles. I had never run that far before. The farthest I'd run was 3 on a road before. Idiot me signed up for that.
I mean, I think it's just it's a cool
mile
mental
markers. Yes.
It's a cool mental battle if you don't have it. I mean, I remember probably the worst runs I've ever been on was when I was in basic training. Like,
and they just tell you go run.
You're all running in a formation, and it's not even that hard because you're not necessarily pushing a crazy pace, but it's almost just more stressful because you don't know how far you're going, how long you're going. You don't know where the end point is. You're just going, and that just makes it. It's a challenge, and really will reward the people that know their bodies the best.
Yeah. So thoughts on the 5K? Good. Hopefully the events leading up to the cut line stay balanced so that it's fair for the athletes that keep advancing and go through. And the other cool thing about those 2 events is they said all the divisions are going to do that. So that's really cool. Always like when they try to include every single division so they can really promote like this is for everyone, regardless of where you're at. Yeah. Even the adaptive divisions are going to do it, which is awesome. Okay, next question. I really want to be competitive in CrossFit, but I'm kind of scared because I haven't done CrossFit that long. Any tips? Sign up for local competitions. See if you even like competing. Okay. I think a lot of people get into CrossFit because they like see it on TV or something first, or they see it on Instagram, or they see these videos at first, and you don't really know what it's all about until you dive into it. And some of those people that see it on TV first, they just think competition is the way to go. And it is super fun, only if you're up for that tough kind of mindset and that the challenge of being in a competition. But if you're very, very new, just sign up for some local competitions, see if you like it. And then you kind of just work from there. We've talked about this plenty of times before, it's just, you're going to need time, you're going to need reps under your belt. And as long as you stay in a healthy, positive mindset and you still want to compete, you're going to do well at it. If it's fun, if you have kind of that drive to keep getting better in competition and put up good races against other athletes that want to do the same, you're going to get pretty far in it. You have to start somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I would just say, first off, like being competitive or a competitor is a mindset. Like you don't have to be like going to local comps to be a competitor, be competitive. And sometimes there can be good competition, and there can be like that can look bad or can sometimes sound bad to people when it's like, oh, that's competitive gym or that's competitors, because it's how you compete. It can be a negative thing, but that's, I mean, I would just start, like, if you're not sure, like, get competitive in your classes a little bit, and like find who's around you and like compete a little bit alongside of them. And then obviously, like, that's why I said it's a mindset, like competing with yourself every day. Are you getting better every day? And like the last thing I'd say, the last little tip is just like, if you do class, make a commitment that you're going to stay after class and do 20 minutes of something, accessory work, skill work, mobility, and see if you're willing to put in that little bit of extra time. Because if you can't commit to doing that, then I wouldn't say being a competitive CrossFitter is something you're gonna.
There's a lot that goes into it.
I mean, I guess it just depends on what level of competition we're talking.
Yeah. So
like, if you're just having fun and going to a local comp, but I'm still saying, like, to truly have the competitor mindset or competitive, you can have that whether you're doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into competing, and the thing that I'd always encourage, like, folks that are maybe saying they're looking to be competitive is, like, you got to test the waters a little bit, and you never want it to become something you resent. Like, this CrossFit and the sport of fitness, it's such a lifestyle that's gonna, if we use it in the right way, it's gonna make you so much better. But what scares me is when people say they want to be competitive, is there's a lot more that goes into competing than just coming in, training, being with your friends and everything. You got to get down to like the nitty gritty of doing the extra work and putting it in the extra time on mobility and accessory and all that stuff. And what scares me is I never want someone to go down the competitive route and it turns into a job for them, and they put so much pressure and then it becomes unhealthy, and you don't like to fitness or keep yourself healthy anymore. So where you're at, I don't know all the details, but it sounds like what you said, you're very, very new. You're going to let's plan to make sure you love this many years down the road, so you can look back at this question specifically, or these days where you're a younger CrossFitter, and be like, that I'm way stronger now and I have a much stronger mindset. Maybe in the future you're competing, maybe you're not. It's just going to take a little bit of trial and error, and just make sure you're staying in a good mindset and a healthy mindset for it. All right, this next question is based off of last week's podcast, I think. Yeah, it was last week's podcast. And I got a few new questions this week from some folks on IG. Maybe you're new to the page, but last week's episode was all about dealing with cheaters and all the coaching tips, and that was a big question I got a lot, was how do you deal with the cheating in the gym and people with egos? And this person asked us, what if I just can't count? I'm just a level 1. I think that means like a beginner CrossFitter, not doing RX, and lose my count often, not cheating. Okay, first of all, that's kind of funny. I mean, we're all human beings, we lose count, and it's just kind of a running joke of when you get wad brain and everything. Everybody has those moments where you lose track of what rep you're on. Just make sure you go back to the lowest rep you think you're at. That's the rule around here. But on a more serious note, this is brain training as much as it is physical training. And the idea that you have the responsibility to count your own reps, I think, is a big deal in training, personally. Like, I get it. There's a time and a place. I love when we get to the open, and I'm like, thank God someone gets to count my reps. Hopefully it's someone reliable. There have been some folks that have not counted my reps, right? But that's frustrating. But there is some level of brain training in all of this, that you need to be responsible and hold yourself to the standard of, I have to count my own reps. I'm responsible for these reps and my fitness. And it does happen. We're all human. But regardless of whether you're a scaled athlete or an RX athlete, you can count. Sorry, you got no excuses there. You can count. Anything on that?
No, I mean that happens from time to time, but it kind of goes back to what Rebecca said, and what
no excuses
is no excuses, and then also like I want to coach people to take ownership of their fitness, and if you look at the people who are or the people that are most successful, typically are the fittest or the healthiest, they take ownership. They're like, oh, I got to make sure I'm watching how many calories I'm eating a day, or I have to figure out, I have to do all of my reps. All of those things is just that little bit of ownership and mindset shift that is actually going to develop momentum and get you to the goals and everything that you want, or the whole purpose of you doing it. And so, yeah, I think it's as coaches, we don't necessarily see that. We understand that happens, but our biggest frustration would be like, hey, at some point you got to start taking ownership of your fitness.
I'll give you some little tips you can take from this too. The fact that I'm not leaving you with any excuses on this question. One, we have pieces of chalk, sidewalk chalk in the gym. You can tally up your reps that way. We have poker chips in the gym. You can set out poker chips to help you remember your rounds and your reps. You can bring your own whiteboard. We have some mini whiteboards. Those have just gotten beat up or thrown around the gym. Mini whiteboards, you could bring yourself one of those with a little pin to mark your rounds each time. So, hey, whatever helps you not lose track, because the worst thing you could do is just say, whatever rep I'm on, and you don't get everything you need out of that workout. Come on. You can do it. You can count. I'm not good at math, but I can still count. Okay, so you can too. What's your favorite soup?
Chicken, just like a good chicken noodle soup, like a
You
homemade,
make a good chicken noodle
like a homemade chicken noodle soup.
Man, I think it's chicken noodle soup.
I mean, if chili counts, I would say
No,
chili.
no. I feel like that would be more in the realm of stew.
Yeah.
Like thicker. It's a great question. I have no idea how to make a soup. I like lots of soups. You make soups for us.
My mom makes the best soups.
Yeah, your mom, one of the first times I went over there, she was just like, oh, I just had like these random things in the refrigerator. Yeah. Throw them in the pot.
It's like gourmet soup.
Amazing. I was like, what is this? You don't even know what it is. It's just scrap soup or something. Whatever's in the refrigerator. It was amazing. Does gumbo count as a soup?
Kinda. I think gumbo's like its own thing.
Shout out to all my Cajuns out there. And it's got to be a soup though.
Yeah, I mean that's hard. We don't eat very many soups. Gumbo. I like soup, but I don't eat it very often.
You make a killer chicken noodle soup, so I'm gonna go with that one. Next question. What's your advice for someone with a full-time job aiming to compete as a master's athlete? That's cool. Very, very cool. I love that. I hope when I get to my master's years, I don't know what I'll be doing by then, but if I'm still interested in competing, that's really cool that there's an option to compete at that age. Always admire the master's athlete. So if that's something you want to do, let's get on it and go for it. In regards to your question, though, no excuses. That was the name of this podcast. I love that you put with a full-time job in there, because that's the excuse everyone uses. Typically, when it comes to, I want to be competitive, but I have a full-time job. Guys, I know it's hard. It's going to be harder in a sense than someone who doesn't, who has the more time to spend in the gym and everything to compete and be competitive at the top level. But you can do it. It just comes down to scheduling your day, being responsible for that schedule and holding yourself to it. And then it just requires a lot of work. Bottom line is, everyone has enough time. If you truly want this, you have enough time. It just comes down to how you're going to organize your day, how you're going to organize your weeks. And then being that you have a full-time job, and maybe since you're a master's athlete, maybe you have a family to go with that, is be ready to roll with punches and adjust that schedule too. Be committed to your schedule and be responsible for planning out a schedule, but be ready to roll with the punches, because you will have time, plain and simple, to train and compete, especially as a masters athlete. You can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a large percentage of the masters athletes that have jobs
and families.
And their families and different things. So, I mean, that's just, I think, par for the course for that level of competition. But the biggest thing, like Rebecca said, managing your time efficiently, but also your time in the gym, because maybe you have less. That's actually not a bad thing as a masters athlete, because maybe, you can, just putting in volume on volume isn't necessarily going to be the best thing for you. It just depends kind of on a few different things, but being really efficient, whether it be setting a clock when you start your workout or putting your workouts in blocks, depending on the programming that you're following. So like 0 to 20 minutes, I'm doing this, just so you get the most out of whatever limited time you do have to train. That's something that you can get really good at.
There might be a case where you're, and a lot of the games athletes already do this, individuals and maybe masters athletes. You're just going to have to, if that's something you really want to go for, you might have to give up some social life, or just prioritize your training over some other things that it makes sense to put over. Obviously, you can't put your training over family. You can't put your training over your job, because you need your income and everything. But I promise you, when you organize, there is enough time throughout the day. But at the same time, I feel like people do this. There's not every day is different. You're going to have some days that slap you across the face and mess up your schedule. You just got to be ready to roll with that.
Yeah.
Okay. But there is enough time
just be
for you
prepared.
to do that.
Yeah.
And when you get really good at doing that, the scheduling part almost becomes easy. You're like, I'm going to make it to this time to go train. I'm going to set me up with an hour clock on the gym to do something, get that training in, and then leave. It's more than doable. Inspiration. There are 2 athletes. I don't know a lot on the men's side, but there are 2 athletes on the women's side that I know have full-time jobs right now on the elite individual. Emily Rolfe, full-time job. And then Shelby Neal, who qualified as a rookie this year, just posted that she was in schooling, and she's got her full-time schooling and everything right now. So those athletes are doing it. No excuses, guys. Everyone can do that. Cool. Wish you the best of luck, and let's go be a masters athlete at the games. Let's put in that work. I don't like this question. Who's the GOAT of CrossFit, Matt or Tia? Go. Okay, you have to pick one of those first, and then I have someone else that I like in mind.
I mean, I don't think you could argue either way. There's I don't see how. I mean, obviously Tia has more than Matt now, right? Like last year, she surpassed him. So if you're just going strictly on numbers, it's Tia. She's been the most dominant. She's won 6 in a row. She got second twice. Oh no, Matt got second twice. She got second twice. She got second twice too.
Yeah, they kind of have a similar coming up, but I don't know. I mean, I originally, my gut wants to go with Tia, just because I think I just know more of Tia, and I think I followed more of her upcoming, and she was just like quiet at first. And Matt was kind of always in the spotlight, and that was just how his storyline kind of ran. He was always in the spotlight, and like, is he ever going to break through that top spot? And then when he did, he won. Was it 5 years in a row?
Yeah.
And then Tia, she was always so quiet, but ended up on the podium. Like her 2 second place finishes, like always ended up on the podium. And then all of a sudden she had that breakthrough. So they kind of have like similar storylines, but their upbringing was a little bit different. And my gut goes with Tia, because it's just kind of inspiring. It's like the person that no one thought was going to be this, and then she turned into the GOAT. So that's cool. But one of my favorite athletes is Annie. I mean, that's the GOAT, who's been around that long, who's freaking had a baby and ended up back on the podium, and then just lives and breathes CrossFit, and you can tell she just loves it, and it like radiates off of her.
Yeah.
I don't fangirl a lot of people, but I love Annie. But yeah, there you go. There's your answer to that question. I don't like answering questions like that. I think it's just being a very serious competitor. Like, I don't want to discredit anyone. So, especially the champs. Like, I don't want to make one sound lame because they're both freaking amazing. Okay, here's another good question. Have you ever thought about quitting CrossFit / had moments of extreme discouragement? Short story, no. I've never thought about quitting CrossFit. And yes, I've had extreme discouraging moments. But I think with my personality, and I hope we can, with talking through mindset in this podcast and whatever we do in the gym, hope we can bring this up more, that when I feel like I'm in the most discouraging moment, like post semifinals or any of those other like failures that we've been through in life, is the last thing I want to do is quit, because my saying is no regrets. If I quit on a discouraging note, 100% later on in life we will have regret, and that's my biggest fear. So to answer that, no, I've never thought about quitting from a discouraging moment at all. But if you have gotten to that line or on that brink of feeling like this isn't for you or you're quitting, you just got to ask yourself, what am I going to pull positive from this? Because you don't want to quit on such a bad note that later on you look at it and it just sucks. You've been through.
Yeah, I mean, I love what you said. Like, I think sometimes we see a discouraging moment as a sign of, oh, I need to jump ship, but that's not the case. Like, anybody who's been successful in anything long term, they've had discouraging moments and they've grown through them. So just because you have a discouraging moment doesn't necessarily shouldn't lead you to be like, oh, I got to do something else. It's, there are moments where you do need to do something else, but I think like every part, just jumping ship and going to something else, there's going to be discouraging moments in that. So I don't think they meant it like that, but it's just like sometimes I think people have that. That's why you quit, because you get discouraged, when it's actually like every time you don't quit, you're also doing something through discouragement. So it's just a
this is going to be interesting to walk through, because and I hate saying the word, I even use the word retire way too much. When I quit gymnastics, because I did quit gymnastics, it just sucks to even say that because I hate quitting at something. When I was 13, I remember the day before, the day I talked to my parents, I said, this is it. Like, I can't do this anymore. And then the next morning I slept in, because practice was probably at 5 or 6 or 7 a.m. the next day. And I slept in, and my mom came up and asked me, she's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm okay. Because the whole day leading up to that, she was like, I just want to make sure you're not gonna miss this. You're not gonna regret this. That we're making the right decision, and we're not just jumping ship. And it was a long time coming, because I ran into so many issues, not just mentally when it came to the end of that sport, when I knew I was running out of time in it. It was like my brain was giving up, which in turn my body totally just started giving up. I was going into training in so much pain, like I couldn't run on the spring floors anymore, and I didn't even have injuries. I was just like aching, my body was cramping up, and it was literally like someone was telling me, next chapter, and I kept like assessing that. And when the days just started getting worse and worse and worse, I was like, I think this is someone telling me to move on. So I really had to think so deeply about that, and I was like, okay, I'm quitting right now. And I never quit at anything. I was like, but I know I'm gonna move on to. I'm gonna promise myself I'm gonna pull something from this and move on to something better. And the fact that I still talk about gymnastics like this 10 years later is I think I'm crazy, but I think it's me still trying to make something of the first 13 years of my life and making sure it translates nicely over into this. So you will know when you're jumping ship or when you're moving on to the next chapter reasonably. I really do think that when you're mentally mature enough. I think there's a lot of people that just give up right away.
That's what I mean. I think, but that's that was just my larger point is there's people that think, oh, there's a path that's not going to have discouragement. Every path has that.
Yeah.
So just like, oh, this doesn't work for me because I had, I struggled with this, and then you keep jumping. Like you're gonna anything that you do, even if it's what you're called to do, you love to do, your favorite thing to do, you're gonna have those. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I freaking love CrossFit and everything that we do in here, but there's still moments that suck, big time. Good question. Thank you. I was getting kind of emotional running through that. Okay, so when I type out the questions on here, especially when I run through them, pull them off of Instagram. Are you doing the Blitz Games? He's dreaming.
He's like dreaming.
He's dreaming.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Probably of being the best boy at the vet yesterday and getting snacks. For the podcast and reading through these questions, I usually edit them if they have typos in them or anything, but I'm going to start leaving some of them just because it's funny if you read them the way they're actually typed out. So here you go. You ready?
Ready.
Why was you disqualified after rowing? Why was you disqualified after rowing? So that's in reference to the last event at the games last year. And there was a buy-in of a 1,000-meter row kind of time trial, and you had to finish the row at a certain time, which was, what was it?
1:42.
The pace you had to hold was 1:49. What did that leave us with? What was the whole 1,000 meters we had to row at? I remember I had to hold a 1:49 pace for the 1,000 to make it. Come on, math boy.
I don't remember.
350, right? We had to get it sub 350?
Something like that. I don't remember exactly.
Okay. Well, you had to, in order to move on to the next part of the workout, you had to finish this 1,000-meter row in a certain time. I think it was 340 or 350, whatever that comes out to.
340.
340? Is that what you had to finish in? Okay. But long story short, I was 1 second short of that. You guys want to know like the full story of that? First of all, it's the last event of the games. My body is basically non-existent at that point. Like so sore, mentally fried, and coming off of like other events that were super, super hard. And I remember being in the back with you and you were warming me up for that row time trial. And we're only thinking about that row because the next part is thrusters and bar muscle ups, and I would be stoked if I could get to that. I'd be super warm and no problem with that. So we're just warming up row paces in the back. And the whole time I'm just shaking my head. Like holding a 149 pace for a whole 1,000 is just insane for my little body. I was like, there's no way. This is going to be so embarrassing. But I just remember getting out there and adrenaline takes a hold of you. And I got through most of the row at the pace. And then all of a sudden, my body just starts going numb. To be expected. That was a super hard, challenging time to hit. But we're way closer than I thought we'd ever be.
I mean, you PR'd.
Who knows how much.
Trying to make it under the time cap.
But I sold my soul to that row. And it sucks to end that way. But that's why I couldn't move on to the final part of that event. And trust me, guys, it still lives in my brain. It sucks. Every time I'm on the rower, I try to hold that 149 pace regardless of what I'm doing. But we will retest that very soon, I hope. The only problem is like retesting it now, I don't have the destruction of the other events at the games. Like that played into it big time. It's just everything before that. And hitting a huge PR on a row, I was just like, I'm dying. 2 more questions. Are you having fun?
Yes.
You like doing the podcast with me? Love me. Training during the winter time, is it as hard for you guys as it is for us in South Africa? That's the question I was talking about. That's so cool. Is it just because they're used to the heat in South Africa?
What?
In South Africa.
I don't know how cold it gets.
That's what I was asking you. Like, do you know how cold it gets over there?
It's got to get somewhat cold because it's close.
But they're probably like warm most of the time, right?
Warmish.
We need a map.
It's the very bottom.
I know where Africa is, but I just need to know exactly where it is in
it's
reference
far,
to the
it's
equator.
Pretty far south. It's pretty far south because the equator is way up by by Egypt.
Okay.
Right.
How cold does it get over there, guys?
Or no, it's not that high. It's like through the Congo.
We're gonna have to look that up. I don't know how cold it gets over there, but here in where we're at in Texas, we do. I mean, people make fun of me all the time that visit here. I think like when we get our strong winters, we can get into the teens on degrees.
Well, not 2 years ago when we had Ice Mageddon.
Well, yeah, and then you were in single digits. Okay, but that's extreme. Like I would say on average, the coldest that we typically get is like the teens, and that's like super, super cold for us. Then we have freaking Mitchell Hooper come visit us and Canadians, and they're like, oh, that's nothing. I'm like, well, it is for us here. And if you guys know me, I'd much rather train in this 105-degree heat than the winter. I just don't like being cold. So yes, it is kind of hard, but over the years, I've toughened up when it comes to training in the cold gym. We don't got air conditioning. We don't got heat. Are you looking up?
South Africa.
Average temperatures. Average winter temperatures. I just don't like when my hands are cold.
They're in winter right now, and it's 46 degrees. So,
yo, that's not that cold.
Well, I don't know what this is going to be the day. That's kind of like how Texas is.
Okay, yeah, well, that's kind of is how Texas is. It's not. It doesn't have the most extreme, but we do get very, very hot temperatures, and it can get pretty cold here. I pick the heat over the cold. I hate when my hands are cold, and I hate wearing layers. God, gross.
Yeah.
Do you have any input today? You want to be a part of this podcast?
I was just looking up the temperatures.
Would you like to answer that question? Is the winter hard for you to train in?
Yeah, it's harder than. I like the heat. Helps you get warmed up. Warming up in the winters and tan. The winter time, it's just it can get hard to warm. Warming up is the hardest part.
True that. Last question. Oh, and then we gotta leave with a workout. I didn't pick one out this week. I gotta think back through them. Do you have any close friends competing at the games this year? I think you guys are referencing like any athletes that I'm close to, and there's definitely some people that I'm rooting for. Some really equally awesome competitors as they are like people. So we definitely have our picks. Like I love Ariel Lowen. She's such a sweetheart and competes so relaxed. That's my goal. Be as relaxed as Ariel when she's competing. She's just conversing like the whole time out there. Already fangirled Annie. Oh, I don't know Annie. I'm not really, you guys know I don't train in camp, so I can't tell you I know a lot of the girls like super, super close, but definitely have my picks that are like, oh, she's super sweet. I love Shelby. Shelby and I have been competing together since we were teenagers, so definitely rooting for her. Those are the names off the top of my head. Other than that, no. I don't have any people that I'm close to. I feel like if we were close friends with them, we'd be like, let's go root and cheer them on from over there. Who's going to win the games on the men's side?
Justin.
Okay, that's your pick. I mean,
yeah.
What about on the women's side?
Awesome. I think, I don't know. It depends on the programming.
You got to pick. You got to tell the people. Tell the people.
No, because I want to say Laura, but now it's like, was this one of the questions?
No.
I want to say Laura, but I don't want to be the basic person that's like Justin and Laura. That's the normie.
I want Annie to win. Okay, that's enough Annie talk. Workout of the week. What should we leave them with? Let me think.
Partner WOD. That was fun.
The one on Saturday?
Yeah.
I don't even remember what we did.
It was cool.
Oh, it was a 3-man team. We left them with partner WODs last time.
Okay.
Okay, explain that one.
No, you
explain that one. That one was fun.
It was 3-person team, 20 bar muscle ups sharing, 120 deadlifts, 30 synchro wall balls with 2 of the partners so you can switch in and out, and then 120 deadlifts. And then it goes back for a second round, 20 more bar muscle ups, 30 more synchro wall balls, then 90 power cleans. The barbell gets lighter. And then one final round with 60
wall ball.
Bar muscle up, wall ball, 60
power
snatches.
I'll put a screenshot of that workout right here. That was fun. It really was fun. But the problem is, it's so freaking sweaty right now. I was just afraid the bar would slip out my hands. That's like half the workouts that I do right now. It's just the sweat is unreal. Cool. That's what we got for you guys this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on IG at Rebecca Fuselier, at Coach Matt Bear, and Blitz the Best Boy. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Love you guys.